Hi, it's Alan again, on the second part of our bike ride around the Cherbourg Peninsula. Yesterday we began at Cherbourg and cycled to St Vast. Today we leave that idyllic spot behind and cycle south to Carentan. It's 31 miles. We're by the sea much of the time. The dunes and beaches stretch for miles. You may decide to stop for a paddle or swim. If you're feeling frisky though, think about going inland for a bit, to one of the massive German gun batteries which dominate the coast. The closest is a battery to Crisbeck, but hardly surprisingly, it's uphill. It costs a few euros to get in, but it's well worth it. There are several gun pits, using an odd collection of guns. There's one from a scuttled French destroyer, another they captured in Russia, another from the Spanish Civil War. It looks as if Rommel was scraping the barrel here. I don't think the view can have changed much since 1944. Still a couple of villages along the coast, the odd church, the dunes, the beaches and the sea. The German troops, were they to come back, would feel right at home. Whether you detour or not, the ride by the sea with the dunes, the beaches and the roll of the waves is hypnotic, worthy of an early Pink Floyd track. There are many blockhouses in the dunes along this coast, part of Rommel's famous Atlantic Wall, to stop the Allies landing in Normandy, which of course they did on June 6, 1944. There were 5 invasion beaches on D-Day, 2 American, 2 British and 1 Canadian. Utah was the northernmost of the American beaches. We cycle along Utah Beach. There's a large memorial museum here and a cafe. Then we pass onwards over quiet open roads through a land of dikes and canals. We spend the evening and night at Carentan, capital of the marshes, a busy small town with an interesting centre with some good restaurants and bars. The third day takes us from Carentan across the base of the peninsula to the west coast. It's 30 miles. The route is nearly all on a disused railway now turned into a cycleway. The only people you're likely to meet here are fellow cyclists, the occasional dog walker, and maybe some people in pony carriages, for this area is great horse rearing country. The way leads through the Carentan marshes. This is the area where the American parachute drop took place on the night before D-Day. This is where the paratroopers will issue the cricket clickers to recognise each other. Think of the film The Longest Day. If you haven't seen it, you should. The old railway is on a raised embankment through the turf-cutting lands high above the marshes. Strange tales are told of this land, many by Barbie d'Aurevilly, a rather spooky local chronicler of the area. There are lots of birds here, geese, ducks, egrets. The way itself is usually shaded, and there will typically be a railwayman's cottage when it crosses a road. There are several good picnic sites along the way, a nice ride on a good surface. Well done, Normandy. Soon we arrive in Hay-de-Puy, a bustling small town with bars and cafes aplenty. From there, our track lies north, along the railway again, then a coast road through samphire beds to Port By, an unspoilt little port with a bakery and a commerce or two, and a rather fine church. The day ends at Barneville-Carteret, a town its name would suggest in 2 parts, but which is in fact in 3. An upper area, a port and a strip development along the sands, none of which joins up. Here, if you care to come on one of my holidays, you will spend a rest day, perhaps on the beach at stunning Cap Carteret with its ravens, falcons and views of the Channel Islands. Or maybe you'll take the ferry to Guernsey. The island is only 20 miles away, while Jersey is even closer. These islands are known to the French as les Îles Anglo-Normandes, and to the English as the Channel Islands. They don't belong to England, though, but to the Crown. Our 4th day is to Brickbeck. It's only 22 miles, but it has its moments. We start by cycling north. This takes us along quiet roads and through rich fields of leeks, cabbages, sweet corns, onions and the like. When the air is drowsy, you can literally savour the moment. Then the land changes to heath and dune. You'd think you're in Ireland now, to the Cap de Roselle, where you can see the Channel Islands before you drop down to the beach at Le Scioto. The beach is 3 miles long, patrolled by lifeguards, quiet, sandy, and slopes gently away. It's rated as number 7 of the 10 top 10 beaches in France. A swim perhaps, then time to sit down in the snack bar and have a breather and a bun. No pain and no gain, they say, and here begins the most painful part of our trip. A 1,500-foot climb over 8 or 10 miles from the beach to the town of Brickbeck. The way is quiet enough and often interesting and attractive, but those hills seem to keep coming. And when they don't and you're cruising downhill, you know you're in for another one up. But it's over in a couple of hours, and all is rewarded at Brickbeck. This part of Normandy feels like the north of England. The castle and the wide square and the stone houses could be in Northumberland. A lively small town, well worth exploration, and the castle is fabulous. Here endeth the day. Our last day is on to Cherbourg. It's only 19 miles. You would hardly notice Brie, spelled bricks, as the route goes past rather than through it. It has, however, a castle called Bruce Castle, from which the Bruce family came. Robert the Bruce won independence for Scotland from England. A Norman as a Scottish hero? It's a rum do. Cherbourg takes a while to reach. What should be all downhill isn't. At first there's quite a bit of up, but the last few miles are definitely down. Here Sean, my son-in-law, who I first cycled this route with, touched 45 kilometres an hour. Brave man. I tend to stand on the brakes going downhill. You can hear me squeaking in Cherbourg. And so we return to Cherbourg. There's still things to see. The City de la Mer, for example, or the Liberation Museum, or a trip on the harbour, or a very fine park and museum, or just to chill out in a restaurant or bar. Whatever. You can award yourself a well-deserved pat on the back. We made it. Au revoir.